Hello, hello. Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome. Today has been an amazing day. If you tuned in earlier, you got to see Leah walk through how to use Canva and make your designs for free, which is awesome. The whole theme of the day is making cool designs. And so I'm going to be joined by Jeremy and a couple of artists. I'm just going to hang tight for a little bit while we give folks an opportunity to trickle in. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and promote folks from the audience. There it is. Jeremy, welcome. Moon Bunny, welcome. Serena, welcome.
Hello.
And Garuni, welcome.
Hey.
Hello. Jeremy's calling in from the office. How's it going, Jeremy? So getting set up. There we go. Welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of kick us off really quickly here. Thanks so much to everybody who already dropped in. By show of hands, I see that there's a couple of folks in the chat. How many folks were actually at the Canva event earlier today? How many folks got to see Leah walk through Canva? Yeah, Serena voice reveal. Got to see Leah walk through how to create designs for free. I see some familiar names: Lazy, Jangutu, Cool, Jispy. Awesome. Rebecca Rooney saw it. Cool. Kazette was there. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. I'm really excited about this one. I think across the board, trying to create designs, it's the number one blocker for creators as they get started on their journeys with merch in general, or really anything outside of that, whether that comes to creating banner images for your social channels, panels, Twitch panels, anything of the likes. Finding a designer is a really important step to becoming a professional creator, to making money online. And so today we're joined by three incredible artists and Jeremy from our partner management team. And Jeremy has a ton of experience in helping connect creators with artists themselves. So we're going to kick things off with a little bit of an introduction of who everybody is. Starting with myself, my name is Vince Tumbleson. I'm on the partnerships team here at Fourthwall. I've been in creator merchandising for over a decade now. I started way back in 2013. I've sold products on Shopify on my own, and I've been at Fourthwall for a little bit over 2 years, where I help folks get started and find their first success with the platform. Again, I'm joined by Issa Moonbunny, Serena and Rebecca Rooney, as well as Jeremy. So, Issa Moonbunny, I'm gonna let you kick it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I am a variety streamer. I started off about 4 years ago as something to kind of pass the time, a little bit of passive income. And this was kind of something I was facing, was looking into artists, and I finally just said, well, I could just do it myself. So I do designs for like emotes for other people's channels. Launched here through Fourthwall and have never looked back since.
Absolutely. Awesome. And at any point, feel free to pull up your Fourthwall shop if you want to show everybody kind of what you got going on over there. But how can folks find you? How can they contact you? Are you open to commissions right now?
Oh yeah, always open to commissions. Either at isamoonbunny.com, which is just my name, at gmail.com, or like at my site. All my socials are there. I have my domain hooked up to there, so there's plenty. Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all the places.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, great. Excuse me. Rebecca Rooney, why don't you go next? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found your way to Fourthwall and became an artist.
Can you hear me? There we go.
Yep.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Rebecca Rooney, or Reb. I go by either. I am a streamer and an illustrator. Illustrator first, streamer second. I've been streaming for about a year and a half now. And I do a lot of like anything from character designs to Twitch panels to little possums. We got a lot of possums. So here's a link to my card with all of my socials and like my portfolio, and then also where is my portfolio? Here is my actual portfolio. If you'd like to give that a peek. I have my hands in too many pies. You'll notice. And I just recently started using Fourthwall with my Twitch community, and we've been having a great time. So I'm excited to talk more about like freelance and working with artists and licensing because that is a big thing. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you. And then Serena, go ahead. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Serena. I'm a 2D and 3D artist, still in college, but we're trying to get into the studios out there. I also do Twitch panels, illustrations, and emotes if you like. I have like a little PowerPoint if that's okay to show, just examples of what I do.
Sure, go for it.
So hopefully it shows.
And again, yeah, if anybody wants to follow along in the chat, you can check out each of these artists' portfolios. We'll be sharing a little bit more information later in the stream as well. But I just want to take a second and let each of the artists kind of showcase projects that they've worked on in the past, things that they're proud of, etc., etc.
Yeah. Can everyone see this? I just want to
Nope.
make sure. I thought I screen shared. No.
Let me see here.
Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm, or maybe I don't have the power. Oh no.
That may be. Let me take a second and look at that. I'll have the tech team dive into that and see if I can enable that for you.
Man, this is very on brand for me. It's a joke with my stream because I'm also a streamer at variety games. I always break everything on stream, so it's very on brand right now.
That's funny. So, I mean, that's one of the themes, right? So all three of the artists who are with us today, they're all content creators themselves. I think that's really, really important. It's one of the main reasons why they were selected to help us on this panel today. I think being a content creator helps you relate to that angle as it pertains to creating art for monetization for other content creators. So really lucky to have the three of you with us today. And while we figure out how to get your presentation screen shared, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Jeremy. Jeremy, why don't you give us a little bit of background in terms of how you ended up at Fourthwall, a little bit about your experience, and just generally tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been in the creator space for nearly 7 years. I used to do quite a lot of video editing for a few creators. Worked on a Disney show for a little bit that involved some creators. Got into the merch space a little about 6 years ago. Worked at another smaller merch company for a few years. Joined Fourthwall a little over a year and a half ago, and probably even just since joining Fourthwall, I've worked with quite a few creators. I think just one-on-one like sessions, like strategy sessions and such. I've probably met to about close to about 1,000 creators at this point. I did the math one time. So yeah, talk to a lot of you guys, and it's been really great to get a lot of insight into what you're looking for, and how we can always make sure that the tools we provide are going to help you guys make your shop the best it can be. So yeah, excited to kind of also get kind of have a smaller session here where we can kind of really dig into things and get some good tips for you guys.
And look, as amazing as it is that you've met 1,000 creators, this is the first that I'm hearing about you working on a Disney show. What?
Oh, did I never tell you about that? Yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
It was in 2017. There was a very short period where Disney was experimenting with putting YouTubers on the air. It didn't quite work out because obviously
Yeah.
YouTubers realized there's a lot of freedom to be had with not working for a big company. But yeah, it was a very fun experience. Got to work with a great team of about 7 or 8 other editors, and we made some really funny TV. Lasted about 3 months.
Incredible. I had no idea. So everybody who's on this panel today then in some capacity has been a content creator, has dipped their toes in video creation or social media management. Obviously, Jeremy's got a ton of experience helping folks create merch. So I want to kick this off, and I'm going to start with the artists today. I think the most important question that most creators have when looking for an artist is, where do you go to actually find an artist to work with? And so, Issa Moonbunny, I'll kick this to you first. Do you have any tips for anybody who's searching for an artist?
Yeah, I would say Twitter is definitely. I'm always getting messaged constantly, people asking if I need any kind of design. So, I mean, you mentioned that you're any kind of social media, anything, and there's going to be somebody. Or go look your, like, type in GFX hashtag, and you'll find a whole bunch of different options. Like I said, I didn't really find one that fit, so I just kind of did it myself. And Fourthwall makes it really easy to do that if you don't have like any skills to at least get your shop started.
Yeah, certainly. Just as long as you have those logos and their assets. Yeah, Rebecca Roney, you want to elaborate on that quickly?
Sure, yeah. I definitely agree. I think Twitter was my first instinct. And I laughed, Issa, when you said people asking you if you need anything, because I get that a lot, and it's usually bots. So if anyone ever comes to you like, hey, commission me, um, just Google up what they wrote, and usually there's a Reddit thread about it, whether or not it's a spam. Um, but yeah, for finding artists, I've found a lot of people that I want to work with, or people who want to work with me through other communities, specifically on Twitch, and through our shared interests. So, honestly, jumping into your favorite creator spaces, if they're active, and just showing up and, finding people who are available, and then Control F search commissions or whatever.
I love that. So, a lot of social media, a lot of connections there, networking, etc. Serena, what about you? What advice do you have in terms of finding an artist?
I'd say like just check their social medias. They might be open for commissions, or like check because I'm more on Instagram where I get my commissions. Um, but like if you do hashtag commissions open, you could find a lot of people who are doing commissions, or Discord. I got a lot of commissions from Discord chats, from communities of friends I've been in, because they've asked me, "Hey, I've seen your work because I post in their art channels. Do you do commissions?" And I say yes, and then we work from there. So Discord's been actually a very huge help with commissions, a lot more than my social medias half the time. But you can still find people through Instagram, but Discord can surprise you as well.
Great. And so, with that, one of the things that I always like to highlight, especially because all of you are in our Fourth Wall design community, I'm actually going to drop a link here and I'm going to hop into a screen share quickly. This is the Airtable that we use to aggregate artists who we vetted. They've either applied or been referred to be an artist to the Fourth Wall community. And so, once again, this is that Airtable. This is the design community that we have available. And we've got a ton of different artists in this community with a variety of different backgrounds. Each one has their own unique style, different price points depending on what your budget is and what exactly you're looking for, right? But a ton of different artists that are here that you can reach out to directly. You can view their portfolios, et cetera, et cetera. And again, I dropped that link in the chat here. So just by a show of hands, I'm very curious, is there anybody in here who's actively looking for an artist as we speak today? I just want to kind of get an idea of who's in the audience and where you're at in that journey. Yeah, Serena, definitely update the profile as quickly as possible. Yep, some artists will have Discords or newsletters tailored towards keeping people in the loop for commissions. It's really, really important that you support your artists wherever you can find them. Lazy, yes. Looking for an artist, perfect. I see Mika typing. I know that Mika herself is also an artist. Yep. Update the card. Yes, definitely. Definitely. And so, Jeremy, while we're taking a second to check in with the community, what tips do you have? I know that you've worked, you said, with 1,000 creators in the past, right? What do you normally tell people when they are looking for artists themselves?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple different things to keep in mind. Firstly, deciding what kind of artwork you're going to make. So, of course, making sure you look through the artist portfolio, making sure that the style they make is kind of in line with what you're looking for, or something that matches the vibe you're going for. Once you've found the artist and you've approached them and you guys are in talks about working together, one thing that'll make life easier for both of you is if you have, if you have specific references for them, whether that's like visual references, maybe it's like a certain website you like, maybe you like the design or layout of it, maybe it's like certain colors and like graphics, maybe it's even merch you've done before or another creator's merch that you're inspired by, just something that they can kind of go off of so they're not shooting in the dark. I know it can be really difficult for artists to just kind of like take 2 or 3 words and conjure something up out of that. Usually what that will lead to is 20 rounds of changes, and then there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and you definitely want to still be friends at the end of the whole process. So yeah, it makes it much more smooth if you have something concrete. It doesn't have to be exact, but just enough for the artist to go off of. And of course, sometimes you may have a super specific vision, and of course, you have to make sure the artist is comfortable with that, because at that point, they're basically just a human pencil. Or sometimes you may find a working style where you do have a vague idea, and the artist is super happy to just kind of use that vague idea to come up with something. So yeah, just finding like a style that works for both of you guys will be really crucial to that. And I've seen a lot of creators who end up working with the same artist for years because they were able to find somebody who they were able to get like a very similar, they had a really similar style and were able to build a really great working relationship with.
And I think that that's one thing that is extremely underrated when looking for an artist. Finding somebody that understands your brand and your style that you work really, really well alongside can go a long way in helping your drops be as seamless as possible, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it's you don't want to have any like last minute changes or things like that. So yeah, just making sure that you're happy with the artwork as it comes out, and you're not. I've seen some cases where a creator maybe wasn't happy with the artwork and they kind of put it off to the last minute, and then they're trying to make changes a day before launch, which is never nice for anyone. So yeah, it just makes the whole process so much more enjoyable, which means that you'll probably be more likely to do another drop in a few months because it was a good experience for you.
Absolutely. And I want to kick this back to the artist really quickly. If you could give a quick summary of what would be most valuable for you, right? If I'm coming to you and I say, okay, cool, I've got this idea in my head, what types of assets or art files or screenshots or mockups or descriptors could help you be the most successful? And Issa, if you want to take that first, I'd love to hear, what makes your job easiest when it comes to commissioning you?
Yeah, open communication definitely. Like, when it comes to me talking about like emotes with somebody or like a design, it's like I want to give them what they want. I want to give that vision to them. So like I said in the chat, branding, your theme, your brand colors, those are huge helps. If you have a certain like anime theme or you want it to look more action packed or something like that, that is something that like me as an artist, I would want to know or I would want to let my artist know. So just kind of who you are. I mean, if it takes a couple conversations, I mean, like don't tell anybody your whole
Yeah.
life story, but like, just kind of like I'm a variety streamer. This is what I do. These are the things that I enjoy on stream or inside jokes we have.
Yeah.
And that's kind of generally where I start. Especially like if somebody doesn't have any idea what they want, but they want something.
Right. And so has anybody ever come to you and said, okay, here are my socials. Can you please make something out of what I'm giving you? How do you
Yeah, I've
feel about
actually
those?
friends, it's a lot easier because obviously you know them. Even if it's just stream friends, but like it can be a little bit overwhelming if you link me your page, if you link me so I can kind of check out kind of your streams and see
Yeah.
what the energy is. I want to match that. I want to match what cuz I know that people have like a vision, like it's like their baby. Like I say that with D&D characters. It's your baby. You want to see it come to
Yeah.
life the way you envision it in your brain, and I want to give that to, you know, content creators.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let me pass this over, Reb. I know that you were saying something. You were very, very excited when we were kind of talking through this idea of what information is valuable for you. Is there anything else that you want to add there?
Yeah, totally. I agree with everything that Issa said. I would also suggest like some of the best clients I've had with non-commercial commissions have given me collages. Some of them have actually photoshopped together the character that they want with pictures from like Pinterest. They're not like stealing art or anything. They're just like, I think it's like this, and then someone will draw
Yeah.
on a sticky note with a stick figure or whatever, and that is so valuable. I would also sometimes ask if like I work in a bunch of different styles, and I'll be like, you want it more realistic or more graphic? Could you pull something from my portfolio that is the direction you would like to go to, or like pick a few things and say what you like about them and why. I have a scenic design theatrical background, and our biggest thing was asking, what do you like about this? What do you dislike about this? And why? because even the no's are very valuable in narrowing down the exact picture.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would ask, what is this going to be used for and why? Because that gives the artist a range in their brain of like, is this going to be commercial? Is this a personal use thing? Do I need to write a contract? How much time is this going to take up in my next month? And can I block this in? So that's
Yeah.
kind of like a SparkNotes version of it.
And so let me ask you this. Do you all normally use contracts? Is that something that if I as a creator come to you can expect to say, hey, I'm going to pay in advance and sign a contract? Or what does the tactical part of working with you look like?
For me, I tend to write a manual contract for anything over $200, or if it's a commercial project. For personal commissions, I will usually have like a terms of service and then a simple like built-in contract that like they basically are like, yeah, I agree because I've already paid you through Kofi or whatever. But for merchandise, it's definitely like taking the template of a contract that artists have already written. You know, there's plenty of resources out there to build your own, and tailoring it to you, and then putting in all those details and then getting it signed.
I love that. That's great to know. And so, Serena, I was just wondering if there's anything that you wanted to add to that bit about what can make it easy to work with you, and what does that process look like tactically?
Definitely like as Issa said, open communication. Rebecca, like having reference of what your idea will be, but also for me, because this is an experience I had with someone when they commissioned me. If they don't have a clear idea what they want, like they don't have much running, you can listen to your artist, whoever you're commissioning, and be like, do you possibly have any ideas? Because probably like myself like probably have an idea of just what they're even talking about, and that idea might be exactly what they're looking for. You just need to speak it out, but ask like permission if they don't know, if they don't have a lot running. Be like, do you mind if I pitch an idea to you? It's a good opportunity because the artist might have something that could help your theme for their Twitch or illustration out a lot.
Certainly. Certainly. I love that. And so now, once we start to work together, we love the design, we agree upon it. What do I as a creator receive from you? Am I going to get the PSD or Illustrator file? Am I just going to get a PNG? Like what are you actually returning in exchange for this?
I personally, I do PNGs because of that way when they have it ready for whatever, if it needs to be like an opacity background, it's already done for them, so they don't have to stress about it or go into Photoshop to do extra work to be like, oh no, because it's a PDF or a different format, I have to take care of that for Twitch and all that. So for me, it's an automatic PNG if it's like Twitch related stuff, or like maybe a profile pic or just a sold out character with no background. But if it's like more on the illustration side, it'll probably be a PNG, not PNG, a JPEG, but mostly for me, it'll be PNG.
For sure. And Jeremy, I want to kick this one over to you as well. When it comes to uploading products to Fourthwall, right? What are the specs? What are the recommendations there?
Yeah, so we have the first place I always recommend creators check this out is our help center. We do have a few good articles about that, but I can actually share my screen and drop these links in the chat. But kind of the broad terms are, you want to make sure a couple of specs on your files are correct. So you want to make sure that your files have a minimum DPI, which is dots per inch. You want to make sure they have a minimum DPI of 200, so that when it prints, the pixels are going to kind of be packed tightly together. When there's a low DPI, that's what can kind of give things like a fuzzy or soft sort of look. So the more DPI, the better. It's going to be a crisper, more sharp image. So minimum DPI 200. Minimum size of the files should be 5,000 by 5,000 pixels. If you do have a file already made, and if it's lower than that, go ahead and upload it into the product designer and check it out. If it's like, 1,000 by 1,000 or 1,500 by 1,500, it'll probably still work as long as the DPI is good. It may just not necessarily, maybe you'll be limited on how big you can make it, if that makes sense. So, but for creating artwork from scratch, always recommend going bigger than you might need. Then that way you have that flexibility down the road. So, 5,000 by 5,000 pixels, minimum DPI of 200. PNG format is what our product designer and the back end of the shop accepts. So you'll want to do that. The only things you'll really need to avoid are semi-transparent elements. So let's say you have like a ghost design, right? You want to make sure that ghost is a solid color. If it's like half transparent or something like that, that's not going to look great when it prints. It'll be all smudgy. Any fades. So if you have a fade, maybe something that goes from like a solid color fading out to transparent, that doesn't really work as well either. And then the last thing to avoid would be glow effects. So, one design that I see sometimes, or a design style that can be popular, is like a neon sort of glow effect. For making the actual glow, you just want to make sure that, again, that's a solid color, because if that has like semi-transparency in it, that's just a little more difficult to get printed with the print-on-demand techniques. So really, at the end of the day, the most effective designs are going to be ones that have like solid and well-defined shapes with strong outlines. We also recommend like going easy on the background colors, removing any unneeded background colors or things like that, just because, visually especially, sometimes those kinds of backgrounds, if there's too much going on, it can sort of overwhelm the image, make it a little more difficult to see what's going on, as well as maybe on printing there might be too much detail, depending on the detail you have in the background versus that in the foreground.
Yeah. And I think that first of all, there were a lot of gems that you dropped in there. Really important to remember, like really bold, solid lines. Those are going to be very, very important when it comes to being able to print these things. And the reality is that something may look good on a screen, and that's not always going to translate directly to the way that it prints on physical goods. And I think that for creators, it's very important to understand the difference of what you're using this art for. If you're using it just for something that's going to be displayed on a Twitch panel, on a phone screen background, whatever that is, versus what you're going to actually physically have to make a machine print on a t-shirt, like two totally different types of designs and two totally different types of art files. The transparency, the shadow effect that Jeremy talked about, these neons, these highlights, literally cannot be done when you're dealing with physical solid colors on a t-shirt the same way it can be on a screen. So really, really important to call out. Jeremy, love those tips. I think that's, excuse me, clearly speaks to your experience in this space, understanding the do's and don'ts of product design. So I want to take a second here. I know that there's a couple of conversations going on in the chat. Mika Miba, a really great tip here: let the garment color become the background. It's a great way to actually reduce your color count and making sure that the design still pops and still works on a particular color option, right? So really quickly now, what I'd like to do is just give each artist an opportunity to highlight some of their favorite designs, something that they've worked on in the past. And I know, Serena, you have that slide presentation put together, still working on giving you access to screen share. You should be able to, but if not, I'm going to have somebody check on that immediately. But really quickly, I want to give everybody an opportunity to show some of their favorite designs. So Issa Moonbunny, why don't you kick us off there?
Yeah, I'll link it again in the chat. But one of my favorite designs is actually something that I made in 5 minutes during the drawing contest that we had at the beginning of the year. And it's simple, but it's something that it's like a safe thing. I believe someone said it. It made them feel safe. It's like, the toe beans and not today Satan. That is my catchphrase. I say it about everything. So it was nice to bring the different aesthetics together, like my cat Loki, it's his paw, and then the galaxy in the background, and then the catchphrase.
So here it is. Yeah, I've got it shown on screen. The Not Today Satan. I remember this. So earlier this year, we did a speed run design competition where artists had set amount of minutes to come up with the best designs possible. And I love this one. I think it's super cute. It's really simple. It works really well as a patch. I can also see this working really well on products like stickers, notebooks, etc. And I know tomorrow we'll have more of a deep dive on how to select the right products for you. But this type of design, incredibly versatile. If you actually look at it, so for everybody who's in the audience, if you take a deeper look at this particular design, you'll see it's actually not a ton of colors, right? You've got the white, you've got the yellow. There's some shading in there that we may want to change up if we were to make this more of a solid print. But you've got your white, your yellow, your black, your red, and your blue. Then you have your background color, right? Very, very simple design, very colorful. It pops, it works. And I think those are some of the keys to actually developing a really cool design that works on a variety of different products.
Yes, and it's when you think about your products, the design competition really helped me to think about my products more. If you can't represent it in a certain amount of time, like if someone's just scrolling through and it's not going to catch their eye,
Yeah.
you don't want to put like all this work into something that people are just gonna be like, eh. So
I
I mean, like,
totally agree.
yeah,
For your
this is 5 minutes.
sanity's sake, right? For
Yes.
your sanity's sake, it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite piece. I've done some D&D pieces too. I unfortunately couldn't find the links in time, but
Right.
like I've drawn my own D&D characters. I've done a lot of different things, like Sailor Moon type stuff. It just kind of wherever my heart has taken me at
Yeah.
this point, besides commissions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, and I think that this is great. Again, I know that you dropped a couple of things in the chat, but if anybody wants to dive a little bit deeper, you can see Issa Moon's Bunny shop, portfolio, etc. at the issamoonbunny.com, right? One of the things that she does really well with her shop is she took advantage of our collections feature. So she has all of these different collections based on product type, based on design type, right? So many different options there in terms of navigating the shop. It's very simple. It's all in the header. I know it's a little bit of a distraction from the actual topic of today, but never too late to, or never wrong to call out great use of this feature in the header. So very cool. And then Reb, if you want to drop something in the chat as well, I'm happy to pull it up on my screen share, and just
Yeah.
show everybody some of your favorite designs.
All right. This is the one that's on the front of the page, so it looks the same, but it's different.
Yeah.
Also, sorry if you can hear my AC. It's getting toasty.
You're all good.
Yeah, so that is my biblically accurate possum t-shirt. I have two. I have a soft one and a not soft one because I know some people like the boxiness of the Gildan cotton shirts. So this was something that I was just doodling in my iPad one day, and then I realized like 3 weeks later that it would be a really cool like metal style t-shirt. I am a
Yeah.
big fan of Wicked Clothes, and they have a lot of beautifully screen printed t-shirts that have like silly little skeletons or like demons playing chess or something, like just random mundane stuff. And so I was kind of like, I want to make something that could look screen printed, even though I didn't like I want to try to do it in the
DTF.
DTF, yeah.
Yeah.
DTF, but this is DTG. And this is the top seller right now. And I live in this shirt.
Yeah.
So I don't remember where I was going with that, but one of the things that I sorry, go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. What I just wanted to highlight is that this is a DTG print, but look at the way the colors popped on that nice dark black shirt. It worked really, really well. It's such a beautifully printed design. The colors are great. I'm a big fan of like the shade of green that you chose. So I think that this worked out again very, very well.
Thank you. I'm happy with it too. I ended up this was a shirt that I turned into a vector. And then I think I exported the vector as a PNG to upload it. And that helped a lot because it got rid of any of the stray pixels that would have been there, making it a little fuzzy. For this, it was I know since I grew up as a little emo Hot Topic kid, I know that there's a market for shirts that look like they came from Hot Topic, and at a glance, you can't really tell what it is. It's just pretty, and so I know a lot of people want these kind of subtle designs, and then like I have other things that are more specifically my community.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting. There are very clearly different styles between these two designs right here,
Mhm.
right? You touched on it earlier that you have a ton of different illustration and artist styles. Nobody can argue that the biblically accurate possum and the silly vibes sweatshirt would be in the same category, right? They're just different. They have very different
Yeah.
styles, color schemes, etc. But they're both excellent, excellent designs.
Thank you.
Now, these ones, what I really like here and I want to highlight, you're able to make a sticker sheet based off of art assets that you already had available, which is your emotes, right? And that's something that
Mhm.
every streamer is already going to have, assuming that you're partnered or affiliate, you're going to have your emotes. Putting the most popular emotes on a sticker sheet is a great way to offer a product at an affordable price point to all of your fans, right?
Mhm.
It's a great way to repurpose designs that you already have. Now, with these, I do want to call out sometimes your artist may give you your emotes at a very small file size. Be sure to ask for a larger file size if you do intend to use it for merch at any point in time.
Yes, I think when I started doing my emotes, I start them all at 1000 by 1000 just in case I want to turn it into something
Yeah.
later on. And for people who do stream on Twitch and have the live gifting feature set up, the emote sticker sheets are always the number one thing that's gifted because they're affordable and it's like, oh my god, look at that emote. You want it
Yeah.
physically? Here you go. And then it just goes.
What an important call out. That's a great nugget of information right there that the sticker sheets are some of the top gifted products just because they're so affordable. A couple of things that I also like on your shop while we're here. Number one, again, you also take advantage of the header in such a beautiful way. But number two, you used our banner to promote a sale that you have going on. And I think that that's really, really important for all of us to remember. These websites, it's a great opportunity to showcase who you are as a creator and as an artist, but it's also your primary revenue source as it comes to selling merch. So using this header and tapping into some of those most popular e-commerce hacks and habits, which is offering your promotion, promoting it at the top of your page. It's a really excellent way to drive more sales and convert more folks who do end up on your shop itself. So great use of the header here. Really, really like that. And then Serena, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up your Instagram really quickly. But do you have another link or anything that you want to share that I can showcase and highlight quickly?
I was gonna post my favorite merch I've created during my whole like rebrand session. I don't have a lot at the moment
All
because
good.
of rebranding, but more to come in June. Self promo, haha. But this is what I call the warrior hoodie. As I don't know if anyone's on chat, I'm a believer in my faith of in Christ. But what I like to do is to try to go in this new theme to represent not only my faith but also my talent in art. So I have a problem with going into detail. I really like going into detail. So,
Yeah.
but it's something that to me, I think it'll look cool. And if people don't know what it truly means to me, they'll just know like we are all warriors because we all go through a very difficult time in life and we still march on even if we may have a bad day or not, depending like how severe it may be.
I love this design and I love the detail. And I feel like, this design right here, the way that you utilize the colors, the shading, a really, really great job. And I think it showcases your talents quite well. And to speak to your point, I'm sure that this is something that you can wear that's also a conversation starter. It gives you an opportunity to have conversations that I'm sure you're eager to have as people
Yeah,
see you in person and they say, hey, really cool design. What does it mean? You could say, oh, I actually made it myself.
exactly.
Very cool. Another theme here for everybody who's following along. All of the artists are doing a really, really great job of taking advantage of our headers, creating collections, showing off their designs, something that I can't stress enough. Really beautiful banner image here. And again, just look at the colors, right? Just look at, excuse me, the way that you take advantage of, and I'm really excited to see your rebrand, but the way that you take advantage of our themes to keep it simple but yet promote all of your designs, like really, really great job and great use of the tools provided.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a very organized person and I like not OCD level, but like
Yeah.
I like things organized. So like the themes are very helpful in my eyes. I'm just like, oh thank gosh, I don't have to do anything.
So there's one thing that I just want to call out here really quickly. This says, it was $0 before it was marked sold out. Was that the intention?
Yes, it was. So I was doing a charity stream for my rebrand with Make a Wish to help
Okay.
children's wishes come true. And so this was a free digital copy. I'm actually probably going to make it marketable again for today because I didn't see many people pick it, and I was just like, wow, I really wish people got a chance to see this because not many people came by my stream that day. So I was like, man,
Yeah.
free artwork. Take the opportunity, please.
I love it. No, it looks great. And I'm really glad that we got a chance to showcase all three of your shops, not only so that people can check them out if they want to actually go through, purchase, donate, or support any of the great artists that we have today, but also as an opportunity for everybody to see what's possible with the website and with the products and use this as inspiration for themselves. So thank you all for doing that today. Now, Jeremy, do you have your shop and your art that you want me to pull up and we could show it today really quickly?
Yeah, are you talking
You're
about
muted, Jeremy.
Oop, am I good now?
Let me try
Am I
now.
still muted?
There we go.
Am I good now? Cool. I'm very bad at Discord. Discord adds like 30, it subtracts like 30 years from my technological abilities. Yeah, are you talking about?
Jeremy?
Oh, they can't hear me.
How about now?
Can you guys hear me now?
There we go.
You
Yep.
can hear me now. Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, are you talking about the product designer, right?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Perfect. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I think I know how to share my screen here. Yes. Yeah, so once you have your artwork ready and it's time to make some products, it looks like everyone in here has been in the product designer, knows how to create products. So we'll go ahead and jump in there. There's a couple of things that are always good to note in the product designer in relation to your artwork. So let me go ahead and I'll just pick like a good, Bella Canvas shirt is always a good one. We'll go ahead and pick the DTG. Go to customize that. So once you have your design that you'd like to choose, you can go ahead and upload it in here. As you can see, it's always going to save those those files for you, so you can get them later. Don't have to upload them again. So we'll go ahead and pop this on here. So right away, you can see that you can start resizing this if you want to. This is going to tell you the dimensions of that artwork, so you can have an idea of how big it is. This dotted line right here represents the safe print area. So anything in here is going to show up well on your print. You can choose what location on the product you want to print on by selecting here on the left. So most of these garments, for example, are going to have front, back, as well as sleeves, which is really cool. You can have like little badges here. A lot of times creators will put a little logo there and then maybe like a main design on the front. So there's a lot of cool flexibility that you have with that. Once you've got your artwork sized up, you can also move it around. Again, you just want to make sure to keep it in that dotted line. Otherwise, it's going to cut off. And our product designer, of course, will let you know if you're outside that safe print area, and then it's going to get cut off there. So as long as you keep it in there, you'll be good. The last thing that I recommend watching for on here is the size. So this is a pretty high quality image here. So I can get this pretty big inside the safe print area and not have the quality decrease. I think I was mentioning this before, but as you get bigger, the quality is going to decrease depending on the resolution of the picture. So, I make this a little bigger. It says okay quality. I still don't recommend printing with okay quality. I do think it's best to keep it below that. When it's blue, just make sure that it's the best quality it can possibly be. If you get that a little bigger than okay quality, it's going to say low quality. Even if this image was still within a safe print area, you would not want to print if it says low quality, because then you're probably going to have that fuzzy print because the dots in your image are going to be too far apart. It's or if the resolution is too small or the DPI isn't high enough or something like that. Right. So yeah, basically as long as you keep it within these parameters and within those quality parameters there, you're going to have a really good print that you'll be happy with. And then from there you can pick the fabric colors that you want to have on this. This is really nice because you can kind of play around and see, what does my image work with? In this case, because this picture is green, maybe I don't want to do a green just because that is like pretty close. Maybe there's not a lot of contrast there, but something like this blue, for example, has a much better pop to it. And then of course you can go preview these on the mock-ups, and then from there you'll be able to generate it and get that product into your store.
Perfect. I love it. So we've walked through the entire process at this point, right? Reaching out to a designer, where do you find them? You'll find them on social media, right? You could go into the artist Discord communities. There are a variety of different places where artists hang out, Twitter being the most recommended one. Reach out to your artists there. Again, we've created and curated an artist community that you can find at the link that's in the chat in the Airtable. But again, we've already walked through how to find a designer. From there, we've talked about the interactions. What can you provide to the designer in order to get a design that you're excited about, to get those art files that you could just upload that is going to connect with the audience, et cetera, right? Having that conversation, open lines of communication with the artists themselves, telling them a little bit about your personality as a creator, as a content creator, and what types of designs already resonate with your audience. From there, you can take that art, you can upload it to the Fourthwall website, obviously launch the product, and you're good to go. So we've walked through the entire design process. Before we part ways today, I just wanted to ask and check in with the chat. Does anybody else have any outstanding questions for any of these artists today, or for Jeremy or myself? I see lazy typing. Serena's ready for some questions. Jeremy looking like Tony Hale. Vince, do you normally wear glasses? Yeah, I go back and forth between glasses and contacts. Yep. With the hard, heavy hitting questions there. Yeah, Reb, why don't you go ahead and take this one over? I'd love to
totally.
hear the conversation, yeah, because I know that this is really important.
This is very important. And it's something that I only learned this year as a freelance illustrator, was how licensing and usage rights work. So in the world of commercial designing and art and everything, freelance artists, this is their job. So one of the major ways that artists make an income is by licensing their art. This means that anything from magazine prints, billboards, wine bottle decorations, these are all things that they sell at certain prices based on the company that hires them and the profit that the company will get from that. You may have heard of royalties. That's one method of artists getting funds from something that they've made. Sometimes artists don't like to go with royalties and they go for a flat rate that includes the usage right to like a year of selling, or like 100 copies of a book. So it's a lot of information, and I do have some resources that I'd love to share. This is helpful for artists, especially. Anusha Syed is a very well-known book illustrator, a children's book illustrator. And this video is about pricing your art and how that process goes. So of course, everything from like I don't know, it's so different now, especially with social media, because you'll have people asking to have things as emotes, as Instagram posts, which is a type of advertising, put it on a t-shirt, and it's like all of those things are different usage rights that you have to pay the artist for so that they don't lose out on money that you are earning from that product. And of course, it's different with independent creators, because like if I got hired by Disney, well, okay, they would make me work for hire and I wouldn't get any rights to it. But if I got hired by like Wicked Clothes, if they wanted me to make art for them, I'd probably say royalties because they have a high market. If it's an independent creator, I would probably, charge lower because the benefit that the client is getting needs to be equal to the benefit that I'm getting with working from the client. And it's a lot of research. There's also another resource called oh, I don't have the link. It's called the Graphic Artists Guild Handbook Guide. Graphic Artists Guild Handbook for Pricing and Ethical Guidelines. It's also called the GAG Handbook.
That is a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. It's fun to say. But this is a book that the Artists Guild publishes every year. It has 400 pages of incredible information about the industry and what artists should be charging. But that said, artists tend to undercharge.
Right.
So I would encourage everyone who's looking to hire an artist to look into this stuff to see what the market rates are, because it can be, sure, maybe it's something that you can't afford right now, but you can save up for that artist to make you the very good merch in 6 months. And yeah, also, if you like, copyright is a thing. So like, with commissions, that's non-commercial use. That's non-exclusive, though it's kind of weird because like, who's gonna buy someone else's OC? So like, there's exclusive versus non-exclusive, which means like, if I was making stock photos, non-exclusive would mean I could sell it to 7 different companies. There's so many. I suddenly can't remember any of them. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Make sure that you're following the industry guidelines and not harming artists. We want to work with you, not necessarily for you. We want to work with you. We want to cultivate those relationships. And it's always better for everyone when it ends up smoothly on both sides. So yeah, and if you have questions, always ask the artist, always look into it. It's a lot of information. You might get it wrong a couple of times as an artist, and that's okay. So yeah, and if you have questions, feel free to DM me or something. I don't know. I'm done. I'm gonna get off the box. Goodbye.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking a second to just make sure that everybody is a little bit better informed. And I know that there are quite a few different artists who are in the audience today, and I'm sure that they appreciate some of these resources as well. So thank you very much for taking the time to do that. And so really quickly then, yes, I do want to pause. I want to give everybody in the audience an opportunity to ask any last minute questions that they may have for us. Fantastic. Last minute questions going once. Last minute questions going twice. Last minute questions closed. Great job. So really quickly, I want to also say thank you to everybody who joined us today. Jeremy in the office, appreciate you stepping up for this panel today. To our 3 artists today, Issa Moonbunny, Serena, Reb, Rebecca Roney, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to not only educate us, but also show us your art, your artistic style, etc. Incredibly valuable. It's really important for us to be able to highlight some of the leaders in our community. So thank you all for joining us today. Again, I want to give everybody a quick opportunity. What is the best way to find you? And so Issa, again, best way to get a hold of you if you're looking for an artist.
issamoonbunny@gmail.com.
Perfect. Reb?
I'm Rebecca Roney everywhere. RebeccaRoney@gmail.com. If you don't remember how to spell it, I have a card with all of my links.
Perfect. And then Serena.
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter, or you could DM me here on Discord. I also have an email, which is serenacommissions@icloud.com. I'm also going to put in chat just in case.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And then once again, thank you everybody for joining us today. We're super excited about helping this week with this Bring a Friend to Fourthwall, this Launch a Shop-a-thon. We're very excited to be able to provide these resources for everybody in our community. And again, thank you so much for attending. We'll actually be live on Twitch a little bit later today. Kazette, Leah, and myself will be reviewing some of our all-time favorite shops. It's our staff pick stream. We already took submissions from the rest of the company internally. We're very excited to review some of the best practices for some of the best shops that we've seen over the past few years while working at Fourthwall. So check us out over on Twitch. And then tomorrow we'll have 2 streams once again, back to back. Go ahead, check out the Eventbrite. I'm going to pull up that link and drop that in the chat as well. But be sure to check out our Eventbrite for more information on our next events. We're going to have 2 of those again tomorrow, where we'll be talking about how to pick the right products for you. Again, today was about getting the art. Now tomorrow will be about choosing the product line that makes the most sense for all of you. So once again, thank you all so much for joining. And I hope that everybody has a great day. I know we have some folks joining from Europe. So whether it's a good evening, a good afternoon, a good morning, or a good night, take care.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.